So I would like you all to greet Heather Turner, the bees and the wasps, the bees and the wasps, Heather Turner.
Good afternoon, fellow Toastmasters. And I would say honored guest, but our honored guest is not in this room, but I have seen that it's not a Toastmaster. This is nice to see such a full room for the Speaker Showcase. Now, when someone saw my name on the agenda today and said, the bees and the wasps, shouldn't that be the birds and the bees? And I said, no, I think that's his topic. Bees and wasps. How many of you here are afraid of bees and afraid of wasps? Oh, a good half the room. Anybody allergic?
No, but I get bit by a bunch.
Okay. My husband used to be deathly afraid of bees and wasps. Do you remember in high school, those little 14-year-old girls that would paint their long fingernails? Oh my God, I broke a nail! That's my husband when he used to get chased by a bee or a wasp. Scrolling down my Facebook feed recently, I saw a Facebook video by a British comedian called Michael McIntyre, who I've seen before. I think he's hilarious. And he did bees and wasps. And he talked about the 3 different types of people that dealt with these insects. And I laughed hilariously at that. And it's spot on. Because he's talking about, and I don't know if I can quite hit the British accent that he does, but there's 3 types of people that do waspy things. There's the wafters, and they just kind of waft bees and wasps around. And they don't get all excited about it, they'll have a conversation with you about it, and they just kind of wave them. I'm a waver. And I'm a waver because I grew up with bees and wasps in my grandparents' refrigerator, which might seem a little odd. But my grandfather was a photographer for National Geographic. And if you put insects in cold temperatures, their metabolisms slow down so you can photograph them. And I spent most of my time growing up with my grandparents. And it was generally an average day when I'd be like, Grandma, what's for dinner? I'd open the fridge and, oh look, there's katydids in the fridge again. That was perfectly normal. His second type of person was the stoic. And I don't recall exactly what he said, but he basically said there's the people that just sit there or they stand there when the bees and wasps go bzzz, and they just sit there and they say, don't move, just go away, they'll go about their business. And then he talks about the screamers, or the panickers as he calls them. And that was my husband. Oh my God, it's on me, help, 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 help. Are they still here? Oh my God, they're still here, is it on me? Oh, get it off me. So that was my husband. Seriously, I mean, it was hilarious because he's a pretty masculine guy. You know, I mean, he does all of his own auto repairs, he rides a motorcycle, he's not a big brutish type of guy, but he's a masculine guy. To see him turned into a complete wimp by this little buzzing insect always made me laugh. Well, about 4 years ago, my sister-in-law started beekeeping. And weirdly enough, my husband got interested. He said, wow, that's really neat. We should have bees. And I said, are you freaking kidding me? Excuse my French. I'm like, seriously? You know, this is the guy that freaks out over bees, and he wants to beekeep? So we went and we got our bee boxes. We ordered our nook. And a nook is a box about this big with about 10,000 bees in it. And the day that he was supposed to get the bees, pick them up from, I think it was Northampton, and bring them down and install them into our hive was actually the day that I was going to be at Toastmasters leadership training in June. So I was not going to be around. But I wish that I could have been a fly or, I know this is quaint, but a bee on the wall for this one. Now, I got back home and I said, how did the bee installation go? Because my sister-in-law was supposed to come up with her bee gear and help him install the bees. And he said, oh, it went fine. Janice couldn't come. And Janice is his sister. And I said, so the bees are still in the trunk of your car? It's 95 degrees out there. Are they all dead? And he said, no, I actually did it. And I seriously, I was sitting down when we were talking about this. I about fell off my chair at that point. I was like, you installed the bees in the hive. Which installing bees means you take this box, you take the lid off, You open the beehive and then you slowly dump the bees into the beehive. I'm like, did you just get replaced? Did space aliens come down and like transfer your brain for someone else's? Because I couldn't believe this. And he said, oh no, it's cool. I dressed up in my bee suit and I had to take them out because a bunch of them had gotten loose in my trunk. And all the way down from Northampton, he could hear them buzzing around in the trunk. So I'm like, I couldn't believe this. And ever since then, he's now become the wafter. You know, we had a picnic this past August, and we had 30 people in our backyard, and everybody was freaking out about the bees. Except for the people that knew bees and were the wafters, but we had a couple of screamers in the batch. And he's like, oh no, they're fine, they'll just go away. And my in-laws were there, and they were like, wow, what'd you do to him? But the funny thing is, he's fine now outside. He'll be down there with the mower, and they'll be buzzing around him, and they'll just kind of wave him around like this. But get him in the house? Oh no. A bee in the house? Oh my God, is it still there? Give it off. So my husband has come a long way towards the bees and the wasps, but he still has just a little bit ways to go. Thank you for listening.